Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to more Star Series 13 action here. We're going into the second series today. Thank you so much, Odie and Rhyme, for their first cast in series number 1. But here we are. It's going to be Virtus.pro going against Alliance. KotLGuy tuning in now, and I'm going to be joined again remotely from good buddy Clairvoyance. Clairvoyance, how you doing today? Are you there?
I am most certainly here. Can you hear me?
Sounds wonderful, my friend. We're off to a good start, so I'm happy with that already. And so we got a little bit of news. If you haven't already heard, everyone watching, Alliance has a little bit of a roster change. So they no longer have Nuts / My Nuts. I guess now Nuts can move on and be My Nuts once more, but we got a substitute or replacement for now. It's ASDF, who is actually Kebab, apparently. So, from Monkey Freedom Fighters. I don't know a whole lot about the player, Clairvoyance. I haven't had the opportunity to watch him a whole lot. Any sort of additional insight we should know about Kebab and what to expect from him?
Just off the top of my head, I know that he's been playing a lot of support as of recently, just matchmaking and in general. He's a low-key type of player, you know, maintains somewhat of a low profile, but he's been around for a very long time. An old-school player, and I think a lot of the people from the past would recognize his name as well. We'll see how he debuts with the Alliance roster here.
I remember hearing his name a lot through the grapevine, and he does get a lot of respect, whether it be comical or not. He definitely has the nod from a lot of the pro scene there, so I'm glad to have the opportunity to see him firsthand, and this very well could be his hero right here. Their first draft grab being the Bane, and then they're going to follow it up with an early Queen of Pain right after. Virtus.pro get the advantage of grabbing the first pick, Shadow Fiend, but some's a miss, Clairvoyance. I'm not seeing a Tusk here. You know, things feeling a bit old school at this point, maybe like the last meta or whatever. They're not quite as evolved as what we've been seeing from even yesterday.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's the high-impact punch-packing heroes that like to just run in your face all around. Minus the Bane, of course, but at the same time, you can say that Bane sort of neglects and mitigates that to an extent. So VP going for something slightly more different in the first pick stage. Of course, Spirit Breaker, while it fills that role, and Shadow Fiend generally to be known to be a very strong hero. We have the Queen of Pain coming out of Alliance on the side of S4. Who will be most probably assuming that. And yeah, as you said, no Tusk, Wyvern's banned out, no Dazzle, surprisingly, of course.
Yeah.
But there is no Darkseer, so it's somewhat understandable.
Yeah, committing early for the Spirit Breaker just seems, a bit interesting. Maybe like they were denying it so their Shadow Fiend wouldn't have to deal with it. Normally teams, put more love into getting that Darkseer first. And then it's like, oh, Spirit Breaker's still there. We can have that combo, but they went with the former first, and you're going against Alliance, you got to give a little bit of nod of respect, I suppose, to Bulldog at this point. They still ban out that pesky Nature's Prophet. Even though for any other team out there, the hero just would not fit really the play style and what everyone seems to be going for. Bulldog plays the hero in such a way that you just always could be threatened by it, I suppose, and they would rather just not have to deal with that. I mean, how else can you simulate a player like that in your scrim play? Unless you're going against Alliance themselves, it's not something you're used to going against. You're not comfortable with it, and you don't want to go to that dark place. So it's better safe to just ban it, I say, Claire.
You are playing against Alliance.
Yes. Yes. There's
Yada,
one of
yada,
those
yada.
memes out there. Yep. Absolutely. And then, letting the Dazzle go so far. Still no Tusk, mind you, either. I mean, it could be something that Virtus.pro pair together with Spirit Breaker, even in the off lane. We know it's something that DK Phobos has pulled out from time to time, so I'm curious if it's something they do consider. But Alliance thinking pretty hard about this fourth ban.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, Claire, the funny thing is every time I cast Alliance, they do something weird, man. They do something always just like really weird. Not just this past time, but the time before that. That's when they did the Life Stealer into the Golem thing. But they just did it a bit too long, and I'm like, this is fun for now, but eventually you're gonna have to, step out and farm, and otherwise it's gonna be a problem, and it was a problem. Then yesterday, they did their 4-man draft, and the other team did a 4th pick Huskar, I believe, and they already had a Dazzle and something else, and I'm like, man, I wonder if they're just like, God, the AA would be so perfect here, but we've already committed for 2 supports. That would be a bad idea. Well, they did the AA pick anyways. They put Bulldog and a Witch Doctor in the off lane, and I'm like, what the hell's happening? Alliance always seemed to do something a bit far-fetched every time I happen to cast him here, but so far, Claire, things seem a bit uniform, so I'm happy to see that. They'll get the Undying 3rd pick.
Did they end up winning that off lane Witch Doctor game?
No, No, they did not.
One could imagine, huh?
Yeah, I think I can't remember right. I want to say they won the series in the end, but no, you know what? They didn't. They didn't actually. They ended up going down 0-2. So it was a hard day for them. But since then, they have won a series, so they're tied up right now 1-1. So they're still in great standing in the group. If they do drop this series and Navi drop their series, then OG have a better chance. But they definitely would love to get a win here.
Wow. But, you know, seeing as how Alliance and Navi are back, I don't see OG come back in the same form.
Yeah, this
I'm
week
just
they're
waiting to see.
back. Next week we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. About 5-6 times a day. We'll see if Alliance are back, how many times this game exactly. But with Alchemist, you know, there's always room for comeback, of course. And we have Bane and Undying, two super early centric supports, you might say, because of how exceptionally strong they are in the early game. And securing the Alchemist farm, especially against the Broodmother, if they go for that option, this is going to be quite potent in the mid game stages. And VP, you know, normally Broodmother is something that I'm personally very, very scared of running into an Alchemist. You not only have the acid spray to deal with when you're pushing, but most of the time, if they build a Radiance, Broodmother, man, falls off.
Yeah, that's free money right there running around. So it's a bit peculiar, but virtus.pro pretty confident that they'll be able to micro their way away from that kind of trouble. And her early to mid game impact will be more than enough to kind of cause havoc for Alchemist. I want to put out an early note. Maybe Alliance are going to do, and they've been sipping a little bit of the Vici Gaming Kool-Aid here, and they pull out Bulldog the Morphling last pick, and then we have that trifecta Alchemist Undying Morphling. That would be hilarious to see. I don't think any other Western team or any Western team has done that strat yet. That's been a Vici Gaming thing through and through. But I just want to put that out there that it could be a possibility. I don't know how Bulldog is comfortable with it, but you never know. Maybe they're like, let's try it out, you know? Or maybe S4 is like, guys, I saw this strat. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah, that's right. At Nanyang, they actually tried to pick it, I think, and then Secret banned it against them. But ever since it made the raves and the airwaves that it did, you know, going on Reddit and all these things with these highlights, I seen it tried against me, and I've tried it myself. It is strong, man. Yeah, I don't even think you need the Morphling. I think it's just an Alchemist that just pulls the axe to an Undying. And by 20 minutes, this Undying stealing 10 strength per like every 5 seconds in the team fight. It is hard to beat.
Yeah, that's just where like the ceiling is just... Sky's the limit here for Alliance already. When you have an Alchemist and stuff, the game continues to go later. You're only going to get that much better. Heroes like Undying are going to get blessed with the opportunity of stealing 10 strength every sap, and they didn't have to farm for it. They have the pleasure of the Alchemist on their team, but... We'll see. Maybe they consider the Morphling. If not, other valuable Bulldog options here. Something that might be able to help. It's a tough laning setup here if they accidentally, you know, don't set it properly. Oh, a Tidehunter. Very good for the Broodmother. I wonder if that means they're going to try to match them up one-on-one. And who's going to get that matchup?
I think looking at the lane so far, he's actually not too worried. Because at this point, you can assume that Spiritbreaker and Tusk are the supports, running around this 4-5 positions, and honestly, Tide is very good against both heroes as well in terms of mitigating their aggression. If Tusk gets on top of you with another hero with a snowball, you just anchor smash them both, and all of a sudden, none of them have damage. And of course, with the Broodmother, it'd be his favorite matchup, because Broodmother would do like absolutely nothing against the hero. But it's okay if the Broodmother goes against the Undying Alchemist and Bane. If they do lane it like that, of course, because Alk in the lane with some support, he can topple the Broodmother.
Yeah, well... That's nice. It does feel like it'll be a pretty difficult setup here for virtus.pro to find a promising laning phase without running into at least a little bit of trouble. But they got to get their last grab here. Could be probably the secondary support, something a bit more defensive if they're not already planning on putting Tusk in support. But maybe this last pick has thrown them off a bit and they want to change things up. We'll have to see. Otherwise, what are some classic, like, or do they need to be more proactive with it? Something that can help, like, get the Undying Tombstone, maybe offer some additional armor, or, you know, maybe you go crazy and get, like, a silencer or something to, you know, for the Tidehunter. What do you think the best bet would be?
I do think a range carry is the right approach here. I think something that helps them secure Roshan as well, because they do have a Shadow Fiend and possibly a Broodmother if she opts to build the Russian Broodmother build right now, which is like the Desolator. To be frank about it, so far though, with that Tidehunter pick, I would say VP is like in pretty deep trouble for the time being. Like that Tidehunter pick was brilliant. I was thinking one of the things that VP could use to their advantage in this game is even if they don't win the early game against Bane and Undying, they have a lot of stuns, and they do have a Shadow Fiend, which could probably be the best hero in this game in the mid game, like 20 minutes down the road, even if Alchemist maintains the same farm. And yeah, that's going to be the Vengeful Spirit, the range carry of their option.
I thought this was something we weren't going to see much of anymore because Illidan's no longer part of the team, and they have Silent now, but it appears that this is just the FNG special more.
It is.
You know, not something Illidan runs. So for everyone out there who is like, oh, we're not going to get to see the classic core Silencer, core Vengeful Spirit, or even Drow Rangers. Yeah, it looks like you still are going to be seeing lots of that. And I'm excited and curious to see how Silent is going to be playing the Vengeful Spirit. I got to imagine it's something he does not get a lot of practice with. So unless they've been doing it recently in scrim play, I'd love to see Silent's take on the core Vengeful Spirit. But you can't help it, there's a bit of a stigma there, Claire. It's just one of those cores that no other team out there ever really goes for. You know, people attest it to the fact that she can't really even just go to the jungle and farm up a bit. Her stun can be easily dodged and disjointed. But, you know, is there promising reasons why a team like virtus.pro continue to go for it time and time again?
I mean, again, VP is a very lane-centric / snowball-centric team who like to rely a lot on execution. And heroes like Vengeful Spirit do complement that in the sense because they are strong in the early game. They are hard to fight into. And as it was touched upon earlier, like Roshan potential with Vengeful Spirit is always very strong with the Wave of Terror as well as the aura and the presence that she gives. So with the SF, they'll be able to secure that relatively quickly. I don't think it's definitely as reliable as often as they like to pick it. But this game, they needed something. They needed something different because as it stands, Alliance's lineup is very, very difficult to topple in the early stages. And with this lineup, they just might be able to do it.
Yeah, they'll definitely have to make sure they have that buddy-buddy system, I like to say, a lot. Because the thing with the Vengeful Spirit also is because she's not one to like really jungle farm, she's always kind of predictable as far as what she's doing. She's not lane farming. You know, she's plotting something. So if you don't see her on the map, something's a bit fishy. If you do see her, she's there to farm. And you worry that some teams see that and it's almost a bit predictable. But hey, it's virtus.pro. Like they have to have a trick up their sleeve, I'm sure.
It's definitely very reminiscent of like a Night Stalker playing like offlane or mid especially. You know if these heroes are missing, their time is best spent ganking you or doing something that's more effective around the map than just hit farming neutrals. It just doesn't scale well enough in terms of not playing aggressive. So the ball is in their hands to an extent, but it'll shift over eventually if they don't make something out of it.
Now we'll see the game get underway here. A best-of-3 alliance going against virtus.pro. virtus.pro already have one series in the bag. Alliance will have one series down and they're one series up. This is their final series of playing in this group, and they would love to be able to finish towards the top and bump a team like OG out and in the lower part of the bracket. So no surprise to see. It's actually going to be Alchemist in the mid lane. Loda going to be in the mid lane joined by Aki, and they're going to have a dual lane setup. A lot of emphasis here. He was able to get that early bounty rune, so he had a nice early boost. Silence kind of stuck in the lane by himself, going toe-to-toe against S4 and his Queen of Pain, so these lanes certainly have been switched up so that they will have the mighty Bulldog Watermelon go against this Broodmother here. It's going to be a tough task, Claire, for DK Phobos on this one.
Yeah, it's ever since the Tidehunter buffs to the Kraken Shell, this matchup just became harder and harder, and with the Broodmother Spiderlings being slightly nerfed in the recent patch as well, I don't see this going in any way in any favor to DK Phobos, so he's just gonna have to sap EXP and do the best he can.
It's one of those things, like, I would not be surprised in the upcoming patch. They could even give more love to Tidehunter, just the fact that we haven't really seen much of him at all. And with that, and if, let's say, there's a good performance here, it might spark some interest from a lot of the other teams, and we could see the return of Tidehunter. But is there something about Tidehunter that we don't get to see much more of him as it stands? Is it too much around his ultimate that, you know, it's a one-and-done kind of a thing, and you can't farm Ancients as reliably? How come we don't get to see the hero as much unless it's in a gimmicky kind of matchup, if you will, like this one?
I guess the first thing that really phased him out of the scene was the slight nerf that he received after the buffs. The Anchor Smash was what really brought him into play with the 60% damage reduction at level 1. So since they touched upon that, they also made the Ancients a little bit harder by buffing the Ancients over the course of the last few patches. And yeah, small things add up for sure. But I definitely think Tidehunter is really good this metagame. Like, look at all the heroes of VP. None of those heroes do enough damage to Tidehunter, barring Shadow Fiend. And that's just because of a Shadow Fiend thing more than a Tidehunter thing.
And this Shadow Fiend may not even go too offensive. I mean, I'm looking around at possible mech candidates and any of them that might be able to get a mech in decent time. I'm wondering if Shadow Fiend's going to have to get one for his team, or if he will be forced to go more offensive just to help against this Tidehunter here. Lil is snowballing, but that's just to get away from a bit of trouble. It looks like Alliance have shifted Ake now up to the top lane, so they have more of an aggro setup. And this is very difficult. If you're talking about VP as a team that love to have heavy emphasis in the laning stage, this is something I'm sure they're not hoping for. Top and bottom certainly not going the way they expected. They do have a promising mid lane with Shadow Fiend still sporting, 14-4 CS to Alchemist's 11-4, but that's an Alchemist after all, and after a few stacks and one bounty rune, he'll be caught up and fine.
Yeah, probably further ahead even, I would say. But yeah, this matchup in general, I guess it favors SF, despite the fact that Ake was here to harass a bit. I think they didn't make the best usage of that because Loda was missing a couple CS, and as you can see, G's still CSing extremely well. One of the nice things about Shadow Fiend versus Alk is what you just saw there with the denies. It's very easy for Shadow Fiend to deny the CS that Alk wants, as well as deny, not only deny the EXP, but also get himself the CS, because despite the Quelling Blade, his base damage is just way higher. And Shadow Fiend is just one of the better heroes.
And G is one of the best players to play that hero, and it's rare that we get to see him even get it. Normally respect banned out, but it was a bit of a different draft here in Alliance. Felt pretty confident, and they're going to have the acid spray now, so it will be a bit touchy here for Shadow Fiend. But as he walks in, gets off a couple of raises, and Lowe's just kind of zoning him back a bit, so he gets free will on this top 4-minute rune. He's hoping for a bounty. Will it be a bounty? No. It's a golden rune, but it's going to be an illusion. That leaves the bottom bounty here for Shadow Fiend, and yet for anything to take off. Very quiet game at the start. No first blood yet as we approach the 5-minute mark, but
yeah, he's making a movement down south.
see, he's walking that way. Bulldog spotted out, charged up right now. Broodmother already has the creeps pulled back and behind, but here comes the committed dive. It's going to be a 3-on-1. Will TP's come in? Already one out. Their newest member here, Kebab, shows up, and he's got the Undying Tombstone. He's going to drop it down. He gets off a nice soul rip onto Bulldog, and Bulldog's turned back the action. What a convenient bash. Is going to bump it away from GG. Turns it around, gets a raise off, but Undying's going to be getting picked off right there, and it turns out still to be in the favor of virtus.pro. They can't get the mighty Bulldog down, but they do get the sacrificial Undying.
That was a very fortuitous bash, you could say.
Oh, man. What's happening? So, trades up top lane. S4 blinked in, committed. Turnaround stun from Silent. And thanks to some bottle charges and hefty regen, he's able to walk away before being taken down. Wow. That was also a close trade.
Always a close call for S4. He always likes to play on the edge, and sometimes he does get punished for it, but this time he will survive with the skin of his teeth.
Well, let's break it down now that we have a moment of pause here for Kebab, who needs to reconnect. It looks like here we can actually reevaluate what the hell's been going on. Not much action breaking out in the mid lane, but we have Loda now, who is working his way through a pretty damn hefty stack now, and I'm wondering if Loda is also going to be more on the Miracle bandwagon of Alchemist play. It's what many consider the most promising build-up so far. Do you think it applies the same for this matchup, or if you can go about something a bit different? And what I'm talking about, of course, is the Solar Crest and maybe something like a Shadow Blade or Blink. Do you think that would work out well for Loda this game, or does he need to change things up a bit?
Honestly, I think this is one of those games where I would support the mini Naga build. Again, VP's lineup, they're so single target centric that if they don't push towers with SF like crazy in the early game, they're just not going to be able to push against the team fight of Alliance. And I feel like just delaying the process of the push and allowing yourself to get bigger and bigger while you're pushing out other waves, such as a Naga Siren, is gonna really allow them to just run over in one team fight in the mid game stages.
Yeah.
So I think I like the Radiance build this game.
We'll see if it's something they go for. Back at top lane after that mini skirmish, Silent has used his salve, is healed up fine. And we'll continue his matchup here against Ake, who put an early level, it looks like, into Enfeeble. His Bane build here, interesting, nothing into sleep at all. He went with the 1-2 build at the start and favors nerfing down the damage, it looks like, of the Vengeful Spirit, which it's a respectable nerf, I guess, at the start, minus 18 damage.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Venge has the damage bonus coming out for the Vengeance aura. So the Enfeeble definitely doesn't have as much impact as it would like. But again, Venge, single target, doesn't really have nukes to clear out woods or clear out creep waves. So she's limited to right clicks and only right clicks.
We have a VP mission here. They're on the move. They're hoping for some stacks, and look what they found. I thought that most of the stack had been taken out there from Loda just during the pause, but it looks like some goodies were left over, and virtus.pro were happy to snag it up. They're going to be in for an awful surprise. And Loda also getting charged in the mid lane. Not only will lose his stacks, he could lose his life here. There's going to be a bump in. G misses the mid lane raise, but it looks like they're going to have a roll through from Lil, and they don't want to have any more of this. They see help is on the way, and Lil's going to be caught out. Turn around from Alliance here. They're going to get it. Right click in. Loda is not going to be losing his life. He runs the right direction with proper rotation. Alliance end up turning it around and getting a kill themselves.
Yep. And I'm just looking at this Broodmother here. She's actually at the top of the net worth, not on the top of the net worth Alchemist is, but on top of the CS board. And she's got herself an Oblivion Staff, one piece of her two for the Orchid as well. She's doing pretty darn good, I must say, against the Tidehunter.
She's been finding that nice spot behind the tower, avoiding actual confrontation with the Tidehunter himself. And uh-oh, mid lane again. Lil's in trouble. They got a nice stun, sap, and he is gone. And also, what happened at the same moment? They also got a kill on FNG. S4 picks that one up with not even his level 6 yet.
Yeah, they have a nice ward placed, and he simply got ran down with the Undying as well as the Queen of Pain. So not too many solutions there. Maybe he could have charged out, maybe he charged in. I'm not too sure, but 3-1 in favor of Alliance right now, and Alchemist still in the top of the net worth chart.
As you said, DK Phobos is really just farming his way through. Oh, top lane, though, that's when they're making to go on S4. They had the stun, not enough bashes. He's going to be able to blink away to safety and bottle up. So, fortunately, VP coming up short there. But bottom lane is definitely their best bet right now. They're going to be building up, hoping for a quick Orchid timing here. DK's doing his best to avoid Bulldog. Bulldog avoids him, but that means Bulldog could also get a quick blink dagger. Oh, wait, what's happening here? Near the river, snowball on through. No, they're not going to be able to get catch on S4. He's fine to blink away, and all is well.
Radiant's middle tower.
Yep. I'm really curious to see how G's going to build his hero here as well. As you mentioned with the mech, certainly a possibility. Helps their push early on, but really limits their transition to the mid-game stages, dealing with this Alchemist, possibly coming out with like a level 2 Chemical Rage by like 20 minutes. And I don't know. I just don't know if they'll have enough damage. You know what? He's actually picked up a Medallion. So he is going for the Solar Crest build coming out of Miracle. And if that's the case, you know, this SF, if he doesn't build damage, he actually bought a Buckler now. He's going to do even less work against the Alch.
Yeah.
And I fear for that.
They're going to get a hold of S4 in that top lane. The three converge, and this time the little lady is not going to be able to blink away. And virtus.pro are going to be able to get a grab. Push themselves up now 3-2. Loda, look at this. He has an Invis rune. He's putting it to work here. Gets the stun on the Silent. He's looking to go for the core takedown here, and it looks like it's going to be the case. Extra additional brain sap damage. Now the Nightmare is leveled from Ake. He'll use it onto Lil, hoping to stall a bit of time. Wait for the stun. The stun's online now. He's going to pop the bottle now. Will it be able to connect? No, Snowball. With that a turnaround, Lil should be able to walk away from trouble. So they're only going to take the one life here. Alliance pull ahead now 4-2. And you're right, G. It's going to be going for the mech. And I agree with you. I fear for the lack of damage this team is going to have into their mid-game transition where you're going to be dealing with, you know, soon to be a Ravage on your hands and an Alchemist who's just 2-3 steps ahead. Mid lane.
It's really like a lot of timing related issues, right? With the mech, they can definitely get 1 or 2 towers that they shouldn't be able to get otherwise, just because they have the effective HP in the entire team. But this Broodmother is still on a time bomb as well. You know, no matter how well you do against the Tidehunter in the lane, the issue is that you'll never be able to push high ground. And in Dota, with the heroes that scale and whatnot and all these things, you have to eventually be able to break high ground. So even with the Orchid coming out, you know, Tidehunter is not a hero that cares too much about it, because the more damage you do, the more likely you're gonna pop the Kraken Shell and allow him to remove the debuffs, such as the Orchids. So yeah, again, I think the fears still stand for them, despite the fact that they have 2 of the 3 top net worth heroes on their team.
So what's that mean? Broodmother gets an Orchid and is like, I can't even use this on the Tidehunter in my lane. I got to start going elsewhere. That means she has to step away from the bottom lane, or maybe she's holding it out for someone else to come to that bottom lane. I don't know how many fight opportunities are going to be there, or how many Alliance are going to present for this Broodmother to take advantage of. So can't help but even question the build-up a bit. If she wanted to be more split push heavy, you know, we've seen those Necro Book Broodmothers from time to time, but you know, this time going with the Orchid, it's like, yeah, she kind of wants to fight. And actually, look at this. She is near the mid lane. They're flirting with opportunities to get a setup onto Alliance. I just don't know how easy they're going to come.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Alliance wants to give him the light of day, and Loda's going to try to stack up the woods. I guess he was a little bit slow on that. Maybe he just wanted to farm. Regardless, with double damage and Solar Crest, say goodbye to these neutrals.
I mean, they could even make an early move on the Roche if the opportunity presents itself. I mean,
Yeah, if they can fight, if they can fight behind the Bulldog's Blink Dagger, which is actually coming out now on the back of how many Ancient stacks is that? 3, 4? Looks like 4 stack.
Oh, it's a big one.
Yeah.
Oh, he certainly got it. It's the same time as the mech on G, so it's gonna be it's a bit sticky. He'll have the mech to shrug off the Ravage there, but it might just do enough work. You know, you don't expect Brood to have a serious army with her. Spirit Breaker is, you know, still level 5, doesn't have the Nether Strike yet. This is gonna be an interesting clash, and I wager it's something Alliance are gonna be looking to go for because.
Oh yeah, for sure. Offensive capability versus a defensive reactive one, where the offense has the first shot, the initiation. I would agree. With the Queen of Pain burst, man, like they're gonna be able to drop like 2 to 3 targets if they really committed.
But look at this. They smoked up and moved, and you know, as we're talking about that, it's like exactly virtus.pro are looking to take action, but they're moving into the pit, and they're gonna be able to take this one behind the back of Alliance. And what are Alliance doing in the meantime? Just kind of farming on the side. Ake's camped to see if anyone shows up. They clearly don't have the idea that this is happening, and they're not punishing it by making an advancement elsewhere. They're starting to creep on this top tier 1, but they haven't even started any damage on it at all.
Yeah, it's a nice snake Roche for sure, but I think this is one of those Roshans that Alliance see and they're like, okay, they have it for 5 minutes, but we're still gonna fight, because if we kill their teammates, we can probably kill the Shadow Fiend a second time. Because the SF doesn't have BKB, so whether he spawns a second time or not, they'll still have enough disables to follow up and lock him down. But in the meantime, they are somewhat wary as they're rotating to themselves to top and saying, hey, it's time to start moving together for the time being. And it's not a bad choice, of course. I do think Ake might be in trouble if he sticks around too long at bottom, because he doesn't have any vision, and they're flanking him from behind.
Wow, this is a deep flank. Way behind. Even the tier 2, Ake, he's in trouble. Yep, G's going to be there. Yeah, I thought about using the ult, but they realized that is not necessary. And it looks like they're going to be going for a possible trade here. Advancement on the tier 2, while Alliance are working their way through the tier 1 here in the top lane.
Yeah, I think he wanted to pull the creep wave from the tower at bottom, but what he should have recognized, I think, is if there's a Broodmother there, and assuming that they were checking items for the first 10 minutes of the game, they would know the Brood's been going for an Orchid and she hasn't been showing herself for a while. It's like a very risky thing to do no matter what, and that tower was not going to get saved. So it's kind of an unfortunate death, but an unnecessary one as well.
I'm curious that, I mean, at some point Alliance, I'm sure we're going to be putting this Blink Ravage to use. So, you know, they are the more offensive lineup at this point, but it looks like they're just kind of taking things easy or almost happy to play the economy game and out-farm.
I guess so. Yeah, I mean, I thought they would really go for it as well, but given their positioning and things, like, it looks like they want to be really efficient around the map and sort of wait out for an Aegis as Loda gets stunned, but there is no swap. They are respecting the Solar Crest plus the Chemical Rage regen.
But, like, they're not respecting the overall lineup to be like, we need to be worried about your fight. They want to fight, and G's like, I'm happy to run in there. He soaks up a Ravage and a Brain Step. He has an Aegis, mind you. So they're trying to turn their target ascend into silent and take him out of the equation first and foremost. While this is happening, it looks like a mini skirmish is breaking out of the mid lane as they're going to be able to take out Kebab. But we go back to bottom as G unleashes the Requiem. A sidestep out from Bulldog, though, and they're going to be avoiding a lot of the damage. They are going to be taking down Kebab in the mid lane. So your Undying will fall, making it 2 down all day. On the side of Alliance, virtus.pro get the better of this trade, and this is something that they have started themselves. And they're not even going to poke at this mid-tier tier 2 tower. That's surprising to see virtus.pro doing so well. Was it Alliance bidding a bit too much onto G with his Aegis, but it seemed like necessary.
I think the move on G was fine, but I think they were miscoordinated. In the meantime, fighting the move.
Yeah, they're breaking on through. Loda here, potentially to be caught out as they snowball and truck on forward. Swap back, he goes down, jumping from Bulldog, but again, he has no Ravage. What a Sonic Wave, though. Serious work onto G. DK Phobos now decides he wants to go man mode here on the Bulldog, who's trying to just get those anchor smashes out. They are able to get the bring down onto the Brood, and then it's going to be the takedown of the Spirit Breaker. Lil charging it after once the Walrus Punch, but the mech helps him out, and Alliance take a better fight their way, taking down 4.
Yeah, if you saw the course of the fight, there was that one time when you saw a Bulldog blink in and you said he had no Ravage, but with that Anchor Smash, not a single hero did damage to him for like 3 seconds. And as you said, with the follow-up on the mech as well as the Solar Crest coming out, Honestly, this Tidehunter, it really, really is a problem. He's gonna be doing, never mind the Ravage, he's gonna be going in, and he's gonna be doing 200 physical damage every 4 seconds. And the biggest issue for VP now is that they can't stop him, because if they use their fixed amount of spells that they have, between the Vengeful Stuns, or Spirit Breaker Charge, or Tuskar spells, they're investing those spells to kill a hero that they cannot kill. And right now, this, again, it's just way too big of a problem. And it didn't pose itself before because Alliance were miscoordinated. They had 2 heroes at mid. S4 had the Yule Scepter to try and remove the Orchids, but it wasn't good enough because there were 2 stunners beside them. And they weren't going together on the Shadow Fiend. So I think the play at bottom was correct, but they were miscoordinated.
And if it's hard now, I don't imagine it's going to get much easier. It almost felt like, you know, virtus.pro were like, we got to get something done to assert our own dominance, otherwise Alliance are just going to ball out of control. And, well, that's what Lil's doing now, is they were desperately trying to get a hold of Gustav there, but he will be able to blink away. And, you know, we were suspecting if the team fight, a coordinated team fight, was to break out, it would be Alliances. It turned out that way. There's just still lacking that bit of damage here. Even now, you know, G stepping off gets the Sage, which is probably the buildup, of course, for an S and Y, but only adds to his takiness now. Don't get me wrong, with all those, you know, stolen souls, he hits pretty damn hard, but I just don't feel like it's going to be hard enough.
Yeah, it's just always a question of, do they have enough damage? Just missing that executing blow is my biggest concern.
We'll see here, another strong test. I mean, if Alliance take another big fight, they come out the victors. I don't imagine that this game is going to become any easier for virtus.pro. And they're going to continue to play the farming game. Solar Crest now done for Loda, and he goes for the Maelstrom here. So a little hybrid kind of a build, I guess. Not going with the mobility tool. Maybe doesn't feel it's too necessary. He has plenty on his team to initiate for him and kind of get the thing set up. So I suppose he feels confident he can walk in there and just knock everything down. And
oh, this Shadow.
They cross paths with Shadow Fiend. He goes for the Invis here, but they got the dust. They're gonna pop it, and now they're gonna run him down. Even as Tombstone committed a snowball. This snowball came previous to the Ravage. He commits it regardless. They still are gonna be able to bring down G. It looks like Lil's gonna be the next target. They're already turning back, and that Tombstone has been just doing work the whole time, as you can see, and it will even slow down little FNG right there, and it is going to be Alliance taking that next big fight. They take down 3. They lose no one, and this is with a mistimed Ravage, mind you.
Yeah. Didn't even need Ravage for that one, really.
My, oh my. It's looking like Alliance are putting themselves in quite the commanding position at this point. It's turning into dire straits here for virtus.pro, and I don't know what that entails of. Brood shows himself a bit, but yeah, what will Plan B be for virtus.pro?
I think all they can do right now is just hold out, put some aggressive wards in the enemy woods to see if Alliance is there, because I guess they sort of didn't recognize that Alliance did like a 4 or 5 man smoke there, and that's something that's usually very obvious when you don't see enemy heroes on the map. And if you push in lanes or have deep jungle wards, you'll be always able to spot it out. So just get those vision up, and then just wait for the next Roshan, really. I don't see too many alternatives, because what just happened, as we say, for like the 3rd time, that was without Ravage. If a Ravage connects on like 2 to 3 heroes, that fight goes much cleaner in favor of Alliance.
And I can't help it. I hate when I cast these virtus.pro games and it doesn't work out. They've committed for something like the core Vengeful Spirit. And I just can't help but say, maybe this is not Silent's hero. I mean, this isn't
CIS thing, man.
This isn't a silent performance for me. Usually this guy is beating ass on Gyrocopter or whatever, and here he is, 2-1-1, and it feels like he's nerfed down. It almost feels like he's there to provide the extra damage for like their Shadow Fiend in this game. Yeah. And that just doesn't seem like the Silent style, but you know, he's going through the initiation of virtus.pro now, so I guess it's just something he might have to get used to under Captain FNG. I just don't feel like it's working this time, Claire. I'm sorry.
Oh, we'll see in due time. As many people have said, this is pretty much a prime example of a live carry Vengeful Spirit is very limited to their devices. Little does VP know that they're running into 5 heroes now. They didn't drop a ward, but the fight's about to break out.
Oh man, FNG creeps in and he sees it's trouble ahead. No Ravage yet for at least 10 seconds. G pops the pre-Requiem here. Nerfs down their damage, slows him down a bit. Bulldog eats an uppercut, but he's happy to shrug that one off. Now they turn back. He has a 4-staff now. They're like, come this way with the snowball, closer to your team so we can get all of you together. And they're looking to go for Lil. Lil will be going down. 2 go down from virtus.pro, including FNG. All the cores and everyone else are just running for their lives here. Phobos hiding in his own web. They're on chase for spiders right now, but it's all Alliance doing the exterminating
here.
He's
getting them.
Oh, he got them. Oh,
We got a huge chunk of them there. Just like a huge infusion of gold coming out with the Goblin's Greed.
just classic Alchemist, you know. You click away, you click back. He's got a new freaking item on his hands. He's got the Hyperstone now. He's almost got him. He's got the Mjolnir. It's ridiculous.
Honestly, playing Broodmother into Alchemist is very similar to playing Broodmother against Legion Commander. You know, you can maneuver, juke and jive all you want, utilize all your 500 APM skills. At the end of the day, one instance where they just cast their spells on you or you get caught off guard, and you're just going to lose out all the effectiveness that you had in the early mid stages. And Alch is just naturally very hard to play against with a Broodmother.
And you're playing a Broodmother with an Orchid in hopes that you're going to be using that Orchid to get quick silences and maybe a catch on a Queen of Pain. Not happening though. 1, 1, and 2 for this Brood. He is able to kind of be sneaky and get down that tier 1, but bottom and below, his team's in trouble. There's a Fiend's Grip coming out from Ake, and Lil will be going down again. I feel like I've said that a lot. He's 0-6 this game. An uncharacteristic game for Lil. Uncharacteristic game for Virtus.pro altogether here. We'll have to see if there is going to be bounce back potential, but that opportunity gets thinner and thinner at this point. Now 14-7. I dare look at the early net worth graph, and at one point it was up for Virtus.pro about 3K, but we're back towards Alliance's side. Only 1K in their favor. Claire, I'm a bit surprised by that. I guess there's some extra credit to Virtus.pro for maybe just doing more of the farm on the map.
Yeah, it's I don't think it's too surprising. I do think it's very nice job of him. Personally, it is a Shadow Fiend and it is a Broodmother. If they don't feed too many deaths, they're probably going to be always top 3 in terms of net worth. But again, the lingering problem here is that even like this game, they need like a 5K or 50% net worth advantage in order to carry out the game or close out the game. And I just don't see the scenario of them getting that. They've been scouting out Roshan. I see the Sigil going in now as well to scout it out additionally. They'll probably ping it out in a moment's time, and when they do, they'll recognize that they have to go for it. But Alliance, if they decide to contest, again, it's like, what do you do against the high ground Tombstone, against the farm of Alliance?
Yeah.
These heroes coming in.
Oh, Phobos! Hey, he's putting that Orchid to use, and he quickly realizes he does not want to finish this. Uh-oh, S4's like, I'll take your babies!
Yeah. Nice.
Takes a good chunk of them, has that ag, so is happy to kind of chew through the small cooldown. And really, Phobos is not going to be getting anything out of that except handing over S4 some extra bits of gold. And well, the pre-steps here from Virtus.pro, they've planned out some pretty aggressive wards. If you haven't seen, they did one to even block out the full camp down here. And FNG, unfortunately, caught on the wrong side of the river. Here comes a shard attempting to block some of them out, but it looks like it will help. And they'll be able to stay back and away.
Oh dear, S4.
And S4, what is he doing? You're late. Oh, Yules. Looks like he might be fine. Raised, he got glimmered even. He's going to be out. No trouble there, but it did force Alliance back. They're second-guessing going for the Roche. Oh, Loda not able to get the vision there to take down the Shadow Fiend, but on the other side, they are able to finish off FNG. Now, Alliance in a bit of a debacle. Do they push the lane? Do they go back for the Roche? All the meanwhile, cheeky little Phobos over here is taking the tier 2 and is starting to push towards the Alliance base.
But little does he know, S4 is here with an Invis and is probably going to be able to clear out all the spiders.
Oh, Phobos actually. He's like, I'm going to go with the team. I want to help them.
Oh, S4. He realizes all those spiders coming out of the web now. He wants to go for them.
Yeah. Moves in, gets a ton of golds for it, but that means he's not going to be able to partake in a fight if one's to break out here from Virtus.pro, who want one. They know S4's not there. They're running. Here comes FNG. TP's in. They got the dust. They're going to make a move on the Loda, hoping to take him down. Follow-up Ravage is going to be there, but a nicely timed BKB from Phobos will keep his eyes on the prize. They want to take down the Beast. They'll get him down. Now Bulldog dishing out those Acre Smashes on the sidelines. FNG looks like he'll be going down, try to charge out, but it is going to get bopped down in the end. 2 down from Alliance here. They pop the mech. They're committing on forward. Bulldog's going to be going down. They get the Tombstone down with G's help, and S4 is finally able to show up, but it's too late for him. He's the lone survivor here, Virtus.pro. Huge fight for them. They recognize their one opportunity to take one, and they get, like, what, the first promising fight this game, and a follow-up move-in on the Roche.
Yeah, that was you could say that was an elaborate bait coming out of DK Phobos. They basically traded probably like 400 gold worth of spiders for a team fight that they really needed this game. And as you said, man, they found it. Flanked with the TPs coming from the tier 1 tower at bottom on the tower side, which is still alive. Snowball into Roche to help the Broodmother get out, and looks like Roshan's about to go down in VP's favor again for the second time this game.
This is big. Had Alliance taken this Aegis here. It could have been their game, but Virtus.pro still holding on. Now with Aegis in hand here, and a BKB complete for G. It's like a whole new team right now ready to take on Alliance.
Yeah, this is definitely their best timing this game for sure. With this BKB and the Aegis, they have to try and make a high ground push. As we saw in that last fight, their best approach to the game is definitely to split them up and pick them apart. Because in a 5v5 engagement, it's probably unlikely, even with the BKBs, that you can deal with the aggression coming out of the entirety of Alliance. But when it comes to high ground pushes, it's kind of like an inevitable circumstance. So playing that with new BKBs and Aegis is their best bet. Oh my gosh, another Sonic Wave at the middle line.
Yeah, he's just so thirsty. Well, he's got the gold now, 2K. What is the next item for S4 here? Now that he can chunk out Sonic Waves like it's nothing, it looks like maybe an AC is in order for him.
Yeah, looks like AC or Shivas. I'm personally unsure, but possibly. I think Shivas would be good this game, just to slow up the attack speed of all these single target centric cores and all these strength heroes as well.
They're making a move on the Silent here. Loda's going to be able to get the catch with the stun. S4 leads in. Shadow strikes. Silent slowly running away. Has to be popping the BKB.
Oh my
but look at that
gosh.
guy. He hits like a truck. Oh, God. Loda's going to get back, but he's going to get swapped back from Silent. Silent! Oh, he's not hitting him! He's not going to get him down. The charge through will be there, though. Turn around, S4, huge Sonic Wave, but the damage may have been done. And VP are here and ready to play.
That just happened.
That looked like it was going to be the easiest pickoff of a Vengeful Spirit ever. They treated that as if they were ganking like a support Vengeful Spirit, like, this is no problem, little lady, and then she pops her BKB, turns around, the team is there for her, and it turns into destruction.
Yeah, I didn't watch it early enough, so I'm not sure if he charged the stun full duration or not, but it definitely shouldn't have been that hard. I guess the end result is they might lose the tier 3 tower at top for this, and maybe Raxus.
Another Sonic Wave from S4, jump in, anchor smash, Bulldog trying to nerf down that damage as much as possible because G is a siege in full here, still with Aegis in hand, happy to trunk down that tier 3 tower. virtus.pro on the up and up. Highest net worth of the game so far, a 5K net worth advantage. And it's DK Phobos at top of the net worth over the Mighty Alchemist by about over 2K.
Yeah, Loda's, with that third death, you can see that he's definitely not having a good time. Even with the Mjolnir, the impact of the items definitely diminished because they have all these BKBs, and of course BKBs don't really care about the Mjolnir procs nor the charges. So, yeah, I'm actually wondering if Mjolnir was the right choice this game. I want to hold that thought. S4 at mid.
Yeah, he is able to Yule's up, Glimmer, avoid the trouble. Oh, the Tombstone goes up, but it's going to be quickly going down here. They are going to be taking down Tusk in the meantime, but a BKB is going to be popped from G. Oh my! The Requiem damage on the Loda just annihilates him. They're also going to be getting the takedown, it looks like Ake. Here's virtus.pro looking to possibly close the game out altogether. Loda forced to buy out, and now S4 caught into the mix here. Another Yule's for him, but he's got no more mana, and he is done for. Phobos cleans that one up. And this is it, the final hurrah. This is the buyback of Bulldog and Loda. virtus.pro composed and disciplined. We still got to get a tier 2, fellas. They step back, they pick that one up, and it looks like they're going to make their move to top lane.
Yeah, they right now they actually have no solutions to BKBs because for some reason every time Loda comes in and he's starting to channel stun or he doesn't have ultimate up, and the next word's been hold that thought. Ravage.
Huge Ravage in from Bulldog. Follow up Sonic Wave. If they don't get the finish here, it's not going to be enough in the end. Silent looks like he could be first going now, makes him work for it a bit, and now the second life of G. He looks to try to impose his will on the S4 here, but he's got to make his way through Loda, and he can't do it. He's going to be going down, but Phobos doing his thing. Not going to commit for the finish on the Loda. Loda's going to be able to be forced away to safety, and now comes Tusk. Lil's trying to help out, slow him down with the shards, but Alliance still on the chase here. Blink in from S4, and FNG, will he be able to charge away? Yes, he will. He's out from trouble. S4's trying to make chase, but it looks like they're going to make it out. They will lose their cores as casualties, but...
Oh, he's going to stop at a regen rune.
How nice.
Yeah, how fortuitous, indeed. Blessing from the Dota gods, and man, these events, it's definitely now how I thought they would transpire at this stage in the game. I really thought the Alchemist would be much bigger than this now, and he's still struggling to finish his BKB. I mean, not struggling anymore, he just picked up a bounty rune, I guess. But when he has that, his fight will be much better, because right now he's just melting to these Requiems and stuns coming out of Vengeful Spirit and Spirit Breaker charges. It's just way too much of a nuisance for him to be able to do anything in the fights.
And I normally look to him to be like the hard hitter, but I can't help but notice just how freaking hard DK Phobos is just hitting now on this Broodmother. I mean, at first I was like almost scoffing at the idea. It's like, oh, he built up a fighting build, but who the hell is he going to fight in this game? Now he can take on almost the best of anyone, especially in a one-on-one for sure. And I was going to say, if only he had a bit more utility or armor to help out, and it looks like he is going to be filling that void now. He stopped off for just a trusty Hyperstone, but it looks like he will be converting it all the way into an AC. So with this extra bit of armor, I mean, he did seem a bit frail in some of these huge skirmishes, but with this, I mean, I think the Spider is the one to look out for sure.
Oh, yeah. If Broodmother's at top of net worth and she has like 4 or 5 fighting items, she's definitely one of the strongest heroes on the map. I actually think Broodmother with Blink Dagger is usually very powerful, just because of how easily it lets you get into the fight, and you just want to get on top of somebody and slow them down and right-click them down with ultimate. But speaking of which, S4 might get right-clicked down here if he's not too keen on the...
Yeah, but the team is also coming from behind, and Ake doesn't know that Phobos was sitting there in the web ready to go. He does have the Glimmer. He's going to be fine for now, but now he looks, and this is what I'm talking about, man. Look at the Spider. Luckily, turn around. Oh, they're going to be nether striking down Ake, who had a great Fiend's Grip on the Phobos, so now snowballed up. Lil there to save him. They move back in and re-engage. Silence here. He pops his BKB, and now the damage to be coming out now. Phobos caught in the mix with a couple of bruisers here. Loda trying to fight him down. Phobos trying to hold on, and he's going to win. Loda's going to be going down there, and this is it. Silent G and company are just going to right-click through Alliance, and since they already used those buybacks, there's not going to be much to stop virtus.pro from closing out this game. S4, the lone survivor, able to TP away there at the end, but he is all they got to defend here. And Clairvoyance, this may be the game for virtus.pro.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate it came down to this. I think that fight too, it should have looked a little bit different. So Phobos initially BKB'd when he first got caught out, and his BKB duration was over. Now Silent and SF were coming in on the form of Vengeful Spirit and Shadow Fiend. They did BKB, but Bulldog hesitated on the Ravage and ended up not casting it at all because he thought he wouldn't be able to hit them. But if he just killed the Broodmother and allowed the Alchemist to live, maybe the Alchemist would have gotten away. Possibly not, but it would have been something. And I think people were just like withholding spells too much in general this game, and possibly like a lot of bad engagements really coming out of Alliance. So VP really snowballed after a couple fights, especially since that Roshan.
Ouch.
Wow, simple, right?
Yeah, that's makes it look really easy at this point, and I was with you the whole way through. I felt like Alliance had a great team thrown together. The always scary, you know, Agnum's Undying in the late game, but you know, Alchemist just didn't seem to be as big of a threat as we usually see him, and that could be credit to virtus.pro and adding pressure across the map and, you know, stumping us a bit. Always happy. And here's Loda just, you know, obviously they're already looking to the next game, but they're like, well, we've got to go out without a rumble, of course, and well, they're done. They're throwing pillows at this point. Bulldog gets off one last mighty Ravage, but the game is over, and it's going to be virtus.pro taking the first game of this best of 3.
Yeah, that was rough for Alliance past 20 minutes, but VP, as you mentioned, man, SF and the Broodmother always keeping the top of the net worth. They really did play it well, and I didn't think I saw too much of the impact coming out of the Vengeful Spirit, but it did give them the early Roche. And again, DK Phobos, man, he really did play this game extremely well, and I think the stats reflect that as well.
And you would have thought it would have been a hard game for him with the lane that was set up against him, the mighty Tidehunter. So very impressive stuff from virtus.pro. We'll see if they can keep the trend going or if Alliance will be able to stay alive and get a win in Game 2 to take it to a full 3-game stretch. This is KotLGuy for Beyond the Summit and be joined by Clairvoyance. We'll be back in just a moment for Game 2. We'll see you soon.